South Bend City Council, January 8th, 2024.
All right, it's time to call the meeting to order. So please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming. So let's move right on to items from the public. First up, we have Emily Lebecki from the Regional Library.
Hello.
Hi.
Do I stand, sit?
However you choose
However I
to
feel
do.
comfortable. Okay, thanks, I'll stand. So hi, I'm Emily Lebecki. I'm your Anywhere Library Specialist for Pacific County. Have you heard of Anywhere Library yet? Have you seen like inklings on social media?
Yep.
Okay, so it's basically our mobile services and outreach division. So we're trying to help people get a hold of library resources who can't actually get to the branch locations or for whom it's just very, very challenging. So my job is a liaison between community centers and sites, and then also connecting with branch staff and trying to figure out the best locations to do that. I'm actually really excited because next week we have our two first public sites for Pacific County. One is at Bay Center and one is in Francis, which was like 5 to 6 weeks in the making, and I'm very excited that they're finally on the table. Public sites are basically sites that are open to everybody. So there's no restrictions in terms of age or whether or not you live in Pacific County, you just happen to be there, you can take advantage of library resources. But I also do closed visits, which I've been doing since I moved into the position in November. So closed visits for like class visits, your ITKs, Head Starts, in some cases health clinics. So essentially what I'm offering are like a wide variety of resources that kind of fill in the gaps that the branch locations can't do or are unable to do either due to staffing or just their priorities and direction, which could be we want to do programming at the actual branches or like what Raymond did last year with the whole Tatra truck. Do you guys go to that? Yeah, they have different priorities. So each mobile services site offers a very modified version of circulation. So we want to give people the feeling of being able to browse and pick items and select books or DVDs. We tend to err on the side of newer stuff as well over maybe older stuff. But each site is also catered to people who show up. So if I show up to a site and somebody wants a ton of romance novels, you better believe next time I visit them, they're gonna get a ton of romance novels. So it's really focused on who is showing up. It's an organic process as well. So we're constantly evaluating, is this site really serving the people who are showing up? Is there something else we could do a little bit differently? For family sites, we're also trying to do take and makes, but I've also found that adults really enjoy those too, like little crafts. So in other words, we're trying to offer crafts, programming, and library circulation. But from a van, and the bookmobile van is actually parked outside, which right now is also on modified services. So people can't actually go on the van. It's not something that in the future they will be able to go on the van, but it is something that I yank all of the resources up there. So then I make it pretty on displays and then you're able to browse and circulate at your needs. So what I'm asking of you, and this is entirely at your convenience, on the flyers I have right there, I have my contact information on the Anywhere Pacific sites, and then a generic Anywhere contact information, which will get a hold of my boss, who is very good at getting a hold of me as well, at the off chance that you happen to lose one or two of the flyers. But if you happen to think down the line, oh, I think this would be a great public location, or I wonder if they partnered with such and such organization, please reach out to me. It is my job. It is my only job. So email me, you can call me. I work out of the Raymond Timberland Library Monday through Friday. Raymond's actually closed on Monday, so as I told the Raymond City Council a few months ago, I'm secretly there on Mondays. But you're more than welcome to reach out to me. So, do you have any questions for me right now, just off the back?
How do you get word to the remote locations, to the community there that you're gonna be there? How are you doing that right now?
I actually work with the site contacts to do that, and they've been extremely helpful, especially in Francis, who I didn't realize just how remote it was until I started talking to people, and I kept hearing the phrase, I need to put this in so-and-so's mailbox so that they know it's there. So it's very collaborative and it's very hands-on.
Oh, Okay.
Yeah, I basically, usually one of the first questions I ask is the best way to reach people out here? You tell me,
Mhm.
because I'm new to this. And I've only lived in Pacific County for 2 years, so I'm new to the area as well.
Very cool. I love the concept when she first, I can't remember who it was that presented it when she came.
Jenny, I think, told us about it.
Jenny told us.
Yeah, I love the concept. I love that it's up and rolling. It's cool.
Yeah.
I think Cheryl Haywood talked about it
That's,
once
I think
too.
that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Do you mean public locations or where? Okay, so right now we just have Francis and Bay Center, and then.
But where do you go when you? Like we're at in Bay Center
Where at?
and we're at in Francis.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did forget to tell you that. That's kind of important. So in Bay Center, I'm going to the First United Methodist Church, and then in Francis, I'm going to St. Joseph's. Yeah. Mhm.
Cool.
And then I have something in Ocean Park as well, but that is for Ocean Park's concern.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, before we go any farther, Patricia, can you guys hear when they're speaking online there?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear every word.
Okay, great,
Cool.
great. I just want to make sure because the microphones are up here. And
She's
so,
got a good voice, though.
yeah.
Does that have a really good line?
Yes, it did.
Great.
We did as well. So, yeah.
Thanks again.
All right, and
Thank
I
you.
lost Wi-Fi. I got kicked clear out.
Oh, is
so I
that-
just,
oh.
I just shut it down.
Okay.
So they're gonna have to live with my little face tonight and not my big face. So,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, thank you. All right, and then we have Darian Sheldon from Pacific County about the 1% housing tax.
I will try to have a good library voice as well. I'll stand over here.
It's here and here, so wherever you
perfect.
want to go.
So I'm Darian. I work for Pacific County Health and Human Services. I'm here with the Olson, our commissioner. We are doing rounds of outreach to inform the community and key stakeholder groups like yourself on a sales and use tax that the county is kind of considering on adopting. They're wanting to get feedback from the public and also inform all of you guys as well. So this sales and use tax is it's the 0.1% for housing and related services. So in that, you have a full presentation at your disposal as well. But essentially what this sales tax is, or what it would do, is it would add an additional 0.1 to our local sales tax, which is currently at 8.1%. And it would generate about $500,000 per year in revenue and would change kind of the cost to the people. Our local sales tax is mostly paid for by people who are coming outside of the county and spending their money here with our second homeowners, our tourism. So 51% of our sales tax is paid by people coming into the county and 49% is paid by our local community members. So that would be around 78 cents per month is what the Pacific County resident would be paying out of pocket towards the sales tax if it were to be added. So about less than $10 per year is what that would make a difference on. When it comes to the change in cost of local goods, so a good example is like a cost of coffee with the additional 0.1% added, it would change $4 cup of coffee by 1 cent would be the change in the cost. For an average family dinner, you're probably looking at $100. For most families, like a family of 4 going out to dinner, you're looking at a change of 10 cents with this additional sales tax. So what it can be used for is for acquiring, building, and rehabbing affordable housing units for people up to 60% area median income. So for us, that's roughly $54,000 per year and makes up 54% of our local community members, their income. And it's also targeted to specific target groups, which is our seniors, veterans, people living with disabilities, behavioral health disabilities, youth and young adults, people fleeing domestic violence, and maybe seniors, if I didn't already say that. So with our current population, we know that covers a vast majority of our community members who would be eligible for this housing generated by the sales tax. The sales tax task force, if that's not a mouthful, is recommending that the county really look at putting this sales tax in place, and specifically to be used to preserve one of the biggest concerns is our local affordable housing projects that are currently at risk of losing affordability. So right now we have Raymond House and Raymond Manor, who have their covenants that are up. So basically they say, okay, the state has, if you take this money to build this property, you have to keep it affordable for 30, 40, 50 years. And once that covenant is up, then that project is basically open to sell. And it can be changed into an at-market rental or can have the rent increase. So we have 2 local projects that are at risk right now. We know that they could sell, and actually the USDA just gave notice that that the beginnings of that process is in the works for Raymond House. They're not at risk of leaving right now, but that is something that is might be in the future. So this money could be used towards matching local, state, and federal grants to be able to secure that property and preserve it. So when you get those grants, then you get a new covenant placed on the property essentially. So those are the 2 high priority projects, really looking at preserving and then also building more. We have a couple of projects in the works that need additional kind of matching contributions and need some help to get that finalized. All right. Any questions? So the sales tax task force, their ask to you guys is we've included a drafted letter of support. They would really love letters of support on this. If this is something that you feel like you guys would like to put the city council name behind. We have Lisa here to answer any questions, concerns, and follow up as well. Right?
Okay.
I just had
Thank
a
you.
couple quick things.
Sure, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
The task force it was quite a group of people. There was
Yeah.
20 people,
Yeah.
community people from both ends on this task force, and they really went through and studied all different aspects. And when they brought it to the commissioners, one of the things that we were fairly adamant about was we wanted this, if we were going to put ourselves behind it, and because we just get to vote for it. We wanted it to be kind of like the .09 funds, where it would be leverage money, because we're not gonna earn enough to obviously buy housing or build housing or anything like that. But what we saw it as was an opportunity to leverage funds for things like these housing projects that are at risk of going public, which would be a huge disservice to the people that use them right now.
You might want to explain what you mean for the public by leveraging funds.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
There may be people that don't.
So currently we actually do this here, like with our county local dollars. So with our general reporting fee funds, we take some money from that, and then we use that as what they call match. And it's saying the county is contributing or the city is contributing to this project with $30,000. And by doing that, it makes our grant applications competitive, and it also matches, it fills a requirement that a lot of these grants have, which is saying that if we're gonna give you money, then you need to bring 25% of that to the table for us to award it. So we
The
currently.
community buy-in. they look at
Yeah,
it as-
community buy-in. So we currently do that with the general recording fee dollars, and by leveraging these funds, we have a 1 to 28 return on our investment. So for every 1 county dollar that is put towards these grants, we get 28 back from the state or the feds. So by us using local dollars, even a smaller bit, we are getting more money in return, and actually money that could be us that we may lose out of. We may be missing our piece of the pie if we don't have local money to do that with. So,
I have to say, I was a little on the fence about adding to their sales tax until they got to the part where we we could possibly lose our Raymond Manor and lose our Raymond House, and there's a couple at the beach that are, their covenants are gonna be up in the next few years, and it just, at that point, usually the Joint Pacific Housing Authority comes into play. And it just seemed like, really irresponsible to not try and figure out funds to be able to save these places, so. So there's that, and the fact that we were also a little adamant that this fund not be used. We don't want the public to think we're just taxing you more to hire more people. So this fund will not have wages coming out of it. It will solely be used as the .09 funds are used to help implement projects in the community, so.
So are the cities voting separately, or is the county's gonna?
It's up to
commissioners?
the county, and we do not have to put it to a vote of the people. But we were also pretty adamant, and the health department was in complete agreement, and the task force. We want, that's why we're, the health department, and Darian and Katie and some of the other people have been really good. They've just been hitting it at different community meetings during the day and in the evenings. We wanted to make sure that the people understood why we were considering doing this, and really get the feedback on if everybody was receptive, mostly receptive or not. So
So
that's
no,
your question, Jen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
so no other sales tax goes to this as of right now, right?
We do have 0.1% that goes into a mental health fund right now, that runs through the health department, and we also have one that goes to law enforcement
Okay.
right now.
But can't be used for this type of,
Not.
It's a different set of money.
that's what I mean, it's a
Yeah.
different, okay, that's what I
Yeah.
was trying to.
GA recording fees is the only pot of money that we really have to do this, and we have about $150,000 each year that we put towards these activities.
It doesn't have the capacity to
Yeah.
generate with this one.
Right.
Yeah, so by adding this, we could do more of the development quicker and at a higher capacity if we were to have this extra fund.
All right, very
So
good.
the average increase per person is how much again per year?
78 cents per month and $9.38 per year.
Okay. How many people we got in the county?
24,
Yeah.
just under 24,500 now. I think.
24,000?
Yeah, and then everybody that comes through. So spends taxable money in the county.
So 51% of our sales tax, the current local sales tax that we generate, is paid for people coming out or have second homes here. Or not coming out, but coming in.
Yeah, coming from outside.
Through,
I knew
out,
it,
in.
yeah.
Wherever they come from, they come here.
All right, any other questions from the council?
Thanks.
All right,
for allowing
thank you
us.
Thank you
very
for your
much.
time.
Yeah,
Thank
great,
you.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's move on to item number 4. Approval of- Oh, sorry, yep, I forgot. Doris Fussy would like to address the council.
It has the letter, it has a drawing of. Guess I don't have to give you the agenda, do you? Do I? It has the letter, it has a sketch of our proposal, and it has pictures of where it would be going. Is there 2 there? Yes.
We'll share. We're good share. We're good.
Here,
No bugs.
I looked at it, seen a lot of it already. Okay, did you have anything that you wanted to say?
Well, let me see my copy. So, I wanted to point out what our idea is. Since he was 45 years doing pile driving, we thought that we would take one of his pilings and cut it into 3 different lengths, tie it with rope, and put it at City Dock. And it shows on the sketch here that this is where the Brooke Welch monument is. And this is where his would go. And there's picnic tables over here, Over here is where that big oyster is. And this is to Robert Bush Memorial. The first piling would be 6 foot high, the second one would be 5 foot high, the third one would be 4 foot high. There'd be a 2-inch rope around the top, probably 3 laps. The plaque. I forgot to send in the plaque, is the plaque in there? Okay, I didn't do this. And then below that, there's a 2-inch rope. And then below ground level, it would be 1/3 of each piling would be going into the ground. And then surrounded with oyster shells. I think I forgot that in my head. The plaque would say, I'm so sorry. That he has spent 45 years working on Pacific Willpaw Harbor or Willpaw River and Harbor, and that this would be dedicated to him. And
We've got about 1 minute.
and it would have a picture of him. I can't believe I forgot that.
Okay. I think we got the idea here. Thank you. It's the actual discussion is later on in the agenda, so we'll talk about it later.
Okay, and then I have a second part that I was going to bring up.
Your time is up. You get 3 minutes in public comment.
Well, this is a new issue.
It's, okay, go ahead.
I'm proposing that the city dock be named Gray Hicks Dock.
Okay. Thank you. So let's move on to item 4, approval of the agenda and the consent agenda and the minutes from December 11, 2023.
So moved.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any correspondence?
No.
Okay, so we're going to move on. Item 6, acceptance of the union contract from January 2024 through December of 2026. And I'll have Zoe is going to go over the major changes that were made in the contract since the last one.
So the first major change would have been under section 11 uniforms and clothing. The uniform allowance for police went up to $750, and the boot allowance for public works went up to $250. The second change under holidays is Juneteenth was added to the holidays. Under vacation, under section 13, there was another step added into the vacation. So between years 7, years 7, 8, and 9, they would accrue 180 hours of vacation. So that was an extra step added in there because there was a big gap between, what was it, 5 to 10?
Yeah, there was a big
So
gap.
there was another step added into the vacation schedule or accruals. The next change would be under 18.3 is the police for call out. Previously, the police department got only overtime 1.5 for call out, where public works got double time for call out. So the police now are receiving the same. So for it, they'll get double time. And that's for the first 2 hours of call out. After that, then it goes to overtime, which is the same as public works. The next change would be under section 21, health and welfare. That went up $75 for this first year of the contract. And for the second and third year, it's $50 each year. The next change after that would be section 22, which is the Retirees Welfare Trust, which is a new program that is being implemented, and the employer The cost to the employees is $94.85, and us as the employers will contribute $50 towards that for the employees.
What's that gonna do for them?
The retiree, do you want to speak to that, you can explain it better than I can.
Yeah, it's like retiree medical, so once they get vested, I think it's 3 years into this. And when they retire, they get medical insurance through Teamsters at a discounted rate. So they don't have to go out and buy overpriced insurance. They'll get it through the trust at a cheaper rate.
But the city doesn't
The
pay
city doesn't
for the
pay
retiree.
that once they
just,
retire. Yeah. A lot of agencies in different cities, I think Reagan just got it
Yeah.
last year.
I have a question.
Yes,
That's not like Cobra where it's only for like 18 months after or something. It's for life.
No, yes,
it's until they're Medicare eligible.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, it's that stopgap insurance, between if you retire at 55 or whatever, and then you can't draw Medicare till 65, it's stopgap is what it,
Thank you.
yeah, good question.
so then the next change after that would be to the wage schedule, which is in section 29. The wages increase this year will be 4%. The police officer and sergeant are receiving an extra 1% for a total of 5% because Lucas gave up his increase this year for his employees. And then that goes, then year 2 and 3 are 4% and 4%, and the police department will receive the 4%. That extra 1% is only this year. And then there is also a STEPS program implemented in there for the sergeant, which is underneath the wage schedule. They were at 12% now. So step 1 is 12%, step 2 goes up 13.5%, and step 3 is 15%. And
For how many years they've been sergeant?
yes, it shows on there. So step two is 3 years, step 3 is 5 years. So, and then the other change under wages is the lead for Public Works, Parks, and the water treatment plant went up to $250 per hour.
And it had been
$220.
Oh, 220, excuse me.
So any questions on any of that? So those were the changes in the contract.
Okay,
Do we have a total cost reflection of what that's gonna cost the city opposed to prior
For the wages and stuff,
for everything overall?
yeah, it was in the budget.
You know what that was offhand?
I don't, no, sorry. I don't.
the budget was prepared with this in mind.
Yeah, I was just curious
Yeah.
what the overall
Yeah.
cost was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't off the top of my head, sorry.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to accept the union contract from January 2024 through December 2026.
So move.
Do we have Patricia seconds? Did you have a question, Patricia?
Nope.
Are you, okay, all right. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we have a contract. Item 7, professional service contract for the prosecuting attorney. I would entertain a motion to approve. There have been no changes in that contract this year.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8, same, professional service contract for the indigent criminal defendants. Again, no changes. I'll, entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 9, professional service contract for municipal court judge. Again, no changes. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. All right. Item 10, professional service contract for the clerk treasurer. And the only change here is an increase to reflect the 4% that the union received. So 4% increase for clerk treasurer. I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion
So
approved.
moved.
Okay, a second?
Okay.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And the same for the chief of police, except that he's receiving a 1% increase. And he has given part of his 4% increase to his employees that for this 1 year only, he has opted to do that. And the union approved of that, so that is the change in his contract. So I would entertain a motion to approve the police contract for the chief.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Motion carries. Item 12, same for the city supervisor, building inspector. I would entertain a motion to approve. Again, it's a 4% increase, same as the union employees.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to Mayor Pro Tem. We have to do this every single year. Select the Mayor Pro Tem. Darren Manlow has been our Mayor Pro Tem. He's done a fantastic job. I would recommend that he continue in that position unless
would
someone
agree.
else is vying for it.
I would agree.
All right, I would entertain a motion to, someone needs to make a motion.
Make a motion that Darren retains pro tem mayor.
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Derek. Thank you. And the 2024 council committees are also in here. I would ask before we make a motion, is everyone content with the committee that they are on? We didn't make any changes. Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve the 2024 council committees.
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Was that right?
Mhm. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Now we're on to the Ray Hicks Memorial discussion, and I see that they have left. So we talked about this before, and typically what we do is the benches. We allow the families to put up a bench. I think that's sufficient in my mind, but what are your thoughts?
Any thoughts?
My thoughts, you know, being the history that he has had around here and the value he was to our community. I think putting up the piles, like they said, is a kind of a cool idea to add down there. I mean, definitely goes with the theme of the docks, and I don't think it's too much to ask for, really. I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool.
I agree.
I think it'd look neat down there.
Any other thoughts?
I did like the design they came up with. That was pretty
Mhm.
fitting for his history.
Okay.
Certainly.
And it's like they're gonna pay for that. I don't think they're asking the city to pay for it.
Is that what I couldn't remember. what
They
said.
didn't, she didn't say, it doesn't say in there.
The last meetings, I think she said they were paying for it, but
Yeah,
that's what
I
I.
think I recall them saying that.
Yes.
Yes, Patricia,
Is this a slippery slope?
I think it is, quite honestly, I do. We've been doing benches for quite some time.
I don't think we need to go outside the norm for this person, and then there will be, everybody thinks their relative built this city on the backs of their grandfathers, so I just think it's a slippery slope.
I think he's the only left known pile driver in the area that drove every pile for that dock, so I think we kind of owe it to the man.
I agree. I can't think of anybody else that has done anything.
As far as their design, I mean, I beg to differ.
Out of their, you know.
As far as going a
business,
third of the way
you
below
know,
the ground,
paying
just
grocery, that's.
for a
you know,
6 foot
wonderful
pile, you're only gonna have 2
business.
feet in there, we're gonna need a little more than that to stabilize it. But, you know, so we definitely need a longer pile than what they're suggesting, just to, for stability wise.
Is that even feasible, Dennis, there with the ground?
Yeah, I
Doing
don't
what
think
it's
it
doing?
would disturb it too much, but I mean,
Okay.
are they gonna maintain it? That would be my big question.
Yeah.
Cause everything goes down there and then the family says they're gonna maintain it and then it ends up rotting and
Mhm.
we end up pitching it. You know, that would be a concern.
Is
I think
there
from
a
a city
way
standpoint.
we could table this for now, get their input on, you know, what about in the future? Are you gonna set aside maybe some funding that we
Yeah,
can
you're
put
gonna
aside to,
Yeah.
to maintain it if we do approve it? Is that okay if we do that?
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree
we
with
don't
that.
have to decide
They're
tonight.
using legitimate treated pile, I mean, that stuff's good
The
for
thing I was
eternity.
concerned about was the picture.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know, if they do a bronze plaque or something
Yeah.
where it's routed into there
Right.
and recessed in there, I can't ever see it really giving much trouble. You know, I mean, those piles will be there for long before any of us are still alive. The ones he drove will still be there when we're all gone.
Okay. Yeah, we can readdress it.
We need a motion to table it or?
Well, we can put it on future.
It was only on as a
topics.
discussion.
Yeah, just.
We
future
don't
agenda.
have to take action on it.
I'll
What's that?
do, I said I can add it on there. I know when I talked to her earlier, she wouldn't be available. I think she said the next meeting till the February, is it 12th?
Well, there's no
Meeting.
rush.
So, but that's what I mean. Can I
Yeah.
put it on for like the meeting in February?
Yeah,
Sure. Is that
there's
okay?
no rush.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
No.
So, I know,
Yeah,
but I think she won't, but you know.
well, yeah. But
So
we
I
had,
think it was like
it's
the,
unfortunate that they left before we could ask those questions.
yeah. So, and I have her email. I can shoot her an email.
Yeah,
So I'll put it on to that first meeting in February.
okay. All right. All right, moving on to item 16, the project acceptance and release of retainage for the USDA water treatment plant. That was the upgrade we had done there. So the project is complete and they're asking for council acceptance that it is complete and to release the retainage to the contractor that was held by the USDA. So I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Or any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, matured investment bond discussion. So, as you know, we have investment bonds. And we have one that has matured, for $200,000. And currently, at the end of the year of this year, our water revenues were $172,000 less than our water expenditures. And it's put us in a cash flow situation. And we have a big insurance bill of $237,925 coming due. And we need some cash in order to cover that. So there are two options. The first is to cash in the bond and use that 200,000 to pay that bill. And option two is not to cash in the bond and to make the payment over a 6-month period, which the insurance agency allows us to do. And it would, but they charge a 1% interest on the outstanding balance per month, which comes to a total of $5,800.91 over the course of the 6-month period. And it doesn't do much to help us with our cash flow situation. I don't know that we could sustain that for 6 months in a row and still keep up with everything else. So I sent you this information earlier in your packet or in a separate email from your packet so that you had a chance to look at it and digest it. I'm recommending that we cash the bond in of 200,000 and Because water has spent basically that 200,000, they already spent 172, so there's 28,000 left, and I can guarantee you, we're gonna spend $28,000 in water. And one of the things that maybe the public is not aware of, but these investment bonds came from the timber harvest on the water treatment plant area over there, our water reservoir area and watershed. And so because of that, these funds have to be used for water.
Oh, they can be.
They can't be used for everything else in the
Yeah, that was
city.
gonna be my question.
Yeah, they have to be used for water.
Some sewer,
So-
but water sewer.
It's
There-
mainly water.
It is mainly
Yeah.
water, but there is sewer.
Is there
and-
some sewer in that too? Okay. Okay, so anyway, that's kind of where we're at. And we've had in-house discussion to avoid this big bill in the future, that throughout this year, I would like to put X amount, about 20 grand a month away. So that when this big $240,000 bill comes next year, we've already got the money set aside to pay for that.
Absolutely.
Is kind of what the plan is going forward. But for right now, we're really in a cash shortage.
So we can use the 200,000 to pay the insurance?
Yes, yes, because
supposed to be
it's,
for water.
it goes for water, but what happens is, it adds to the cash in the bank. And we've already spent 172,000 of it in water, which came from the elsewhere in the city funds. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Kind of a roundabout.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Well,
that ought to
And
get
even
paid.
moving forward, though, I can track like what we'll spend that in water. And we
Yes.
can track that on the
Yeah.
spreadsheet, and
Because
which I'm
every-
gonna
yeah.
do anyways, because if we get, if something comes up in an audit, then I can just pull it up and say, this is where it was spent in water.
Yeah.
So you wanna put how much a month away?
What's that?
How much a month do you wanna try to put away?
20,000
And where's that 20,000 gonna come from?
has got to come out of our general.
So that means somewhere else in the general budget, somebody's being affected. So,
Well,
I
it's
mean,
money that we have to pay every year.
well, sure,
But
but it's
what
money we
happened is.
didn't pay last year.
But what happened this year is that water spent $172,000 that should have gone somewhere else. Does that make sense?
Well, it's
and
it's
so-
172 that you didn't get
From water.
from usage.
Mm-hmm,
Now, in the
exactly.
past, you got paid for that 172
Right.
by usage. This year, we're $172,000 short of usage.
Right, so, but we had those expenditures.
Right,
So that money came from elsewhere in the city in order to cover that.
right.
But then we
So either
increased
way-
we increased. the-
Yeah,
If
we
they were Rob
increased-
Peter to pay Paul at that point.
No,
Yeah.
but we have increased
Yeah.
the water rate to make up for part of that,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah,
But-
but as to what percentage? I mean, now.
We
how much have
raised
we
it.
got?
Yeah, and did you read, I sent you the
Mhm.
email, we raised it $10.
Right.
Which brings $112,000 more in. We're gonna come back to you in another meeting or two
Mhm.
for another $10, which will bring in 224,000 roughly. For the year to make up for that 172,000, so that we're not in the situation next year,
Right,
if that makes sense.
no, it does.
Yeah, yeah. Any other questions on this?
Cause if we go up, then we're not really taking 20,000 from the general budget, we're justifying that somewhere eventually.
Well, no, because,
If you're increasing people's prices, then yes,
but that only goes to water.
right,
Yeah,
We also have a new, for the water treatment plant, we pay $109,000 a year for that loan now. Also, that's a new payment.
mhm,
So
this
that,
year.
yeah, well, we
Yeah.
started in December, last
Yeah.
year in December. But
Yeah.
that's another new payment onto water also. So,
And revenues are off.
yeah, no, I mean, we're gonna have to be really careful because
Yeah.
we can't just pop up with $200,000 every year and
No,
something like that,
Yeah.
I mean. I never saw any warning on it, we've never been talked about it, now all of a sudden it's like, we need $200,000.
Yeah, what
To
happened?
me, that's kinda,
Yeah.
that's a large amount of money to not
it's a
foresee.
huge amount of money. Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
So what
Mhm.
happened? I mean, why is it down so far?
You mean why our water revenue's down?
Yeah,
Because the usage is down.
Shellfish industry
Yeah,
too.
that's
We took
a big
hit
part
on
of it.
Shellfish, we're generating a lot of money from that, as soon as that left. I think they're possibly doing some recycling over at Coast, so.
so between Coast and East Point, but East Point hasn't been around for years,
When was Jesse's out?
3 years.
3 years.
4 years
So
ago,
this has
yeah.
been coming on a long time and
Mhm.
we haven't addressed it.
Well, part of it is the new loan that went into effect this last year for the water treatment plant. That was $109,000. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's a good portion of it.
But the
right
usage
there.
dropping.
But the use, yeah.
But it's our
we've
cash
been
flow
talking
too,
about,
that's caused a lot of this, is our cash flow, so
Mhm.
the big payments we had from the sewer that caught us off guard.
In January, remember last year, we had to pay an
That-
extra almost
that put a big
$150,000 to Raymond in this year's
in our
budget that
cash
we
flow.
had not anticipated.
And so it just
Yeah.
kinda, we kinda snowballed after.
And we had talked about that several times about that extra payment in January that came that we were not
Yeah.
anticipating. That really put us in a hole.
Yeah.
And we've been trying really hard all year long, to cut costs and expend it. You can ask the department heads. I've been saying, cut it, cut it, cut it. You know, we don't have it, we can't do it, and, you know, scrimp and save, and it hasn't been enough.
Yeah, we thought
Through
we'd
the
do
year.
better on, and it hasn't been.
Well, I think as a council member, I mean, I'd like a little more.
Well, we
a little
send you the
more
water
continuity
sewer,
with the.
report every single month. You get that in your.
Yeah, but
your
nobody's
box every
ever,
single month.
nobody's ever said the big red flag that we're gonna have a $200,000, here's a 2-week warning.
Yeah, well, that's basically
You know,
what we got.
That's a pretty big hit to every one of us, I believe.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think I'm the only one that feels that way,
Nope,
so.
nope. And
I
I
think there
totally
needs to be
agree
a-
with you.
I'm not trying to point any fingers at anybody, but I'm just saying that, you know, there should be a few more checks and balances to foresee this. I've doubled budgets,
Yeah,
large part of my career,
yeah,
of million and a half dollar budgets up to $2 million budgets. And predicting budgets for costs, and I've never, ever had any point in my career where I was $200,000 in the negative
mhm,
2 weeks before trying to cash in money.
mhm.
That's just, it doesn't sit well with me.
I agree,
That's,
and you're totally right, absolutely.
it's tough.
Yeah, it is, and I don't disagree with you at all, and, quite honestly, we should have caught it earlier and didn't. We just didn't. And we put some things in place now to where that will not happen again. I've got some things I'm doing on my end, as far as, checking revenues versus expenditures. You know, we sit here and we go through the budget, and we go through the revenue side, and we go through the expenditure side. And not one time did we sit here and go, okay, revenues versus expenditures. We didn't do that. And we should. You did?
I do that every budget, and it's scary.
Did you?
Our expenses are outgrowing, our revenues
Mm-hmm.
per year.
Yeah.
Since I've been around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's happening in the retail tax too. You know, there's a big drop off. You know, there was an increase because of COVID, because people stayed home and spent their money in town, and then you can see it just dropping back down. But our expenses, you know, we're still spending the money. We're just like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
we're anticipating last year's, and I don't think we can do that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Especially
Well-
when we raise the water rates $20 a month in a 5-month period on the city of citizens is how it's
Right,
been. They're already
right.
paying an exorbitant fee
We're already
for
the
water and
highest price around, you know?
yeah, that puts me up $320 a month for water and sewer on my house.
yeah,
And then throw the garbage in, 180 now, so
mm-hmm.
that's $410 a month for water, sewer, garbage. That's, you know, almost 6,000 a year,
It's a lot.
5,000
Yeah,
something.
It's a lot. I don't disagree.
But it has to balance.
It
By law,
does. We
it does.
don't have a
By law,
choice.
we have to.
Yeah,
Well, we need more houses. Let's vote for that 0.1%. Let's try to get some more houses in South Bend, generate some income.
Mhm.
And I imagine there is a percent that's the increase in prices that you guys are paying. on the last-
Inflation, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Look at our insurance alone.
The insurance is a big component, yes, it is.
Yeah, Phil said, 40 to 60% probably increases, you know,
You know.
people are seeing it in their homeowners, their flood insurance.
Oh,
What was it last year?
Our
The
insurance.
insurance, it went up almost $40,000
Yeah.
this year.
And it'll keep going up because it's not getting any better.
Yeah,
You know,
I
costs-
expect it'll go up again.
Costs more to
next year.
repair things and,
Mm-hmm.
Just a little tidbit, county's insurance went up last year 57% and this year 20.
Wow.
yeah.
In 2
Yeah.
years, that's almost 100%.
It's a lot,
It's,
yeah.
it's ridiculous.
yeah,
It's,
yeah. But I agree with you, Wyatt. We should have caught this earlier and
I
we
would say,
didn't.
yeah.
And I was going through the year end stuff and noticed it and went, oh,
Mhm.
darn, no wonder.
Well,
we're in a
you know,
hole.
and
So,
like I
but
said,
yeah,
I'm not trying to point any fingers, but I wanna make sure that next year this doesn't happen again.
agreed.
I just think that, you know, we probably knew about this problem well before a couple weeks ago. You know,
Actually, it was about, what, 4 weeks ago? When I came to you and said, hey, we got an issue.
you know,
We should have caught it in
Yeah.
the budget meeting,
Yeah,
you know, really.
yeah. Well, you know, we've all had eyes on it
Yeah.
and we just missed it. You know, I noticed it from the expenses, the actual water expenses. But when you add, they're broken out in the budget report by the water expenses and water debt.
right.
And it's when you add the two together that it stands out. And until you add those two together, you don't realize.
Well.
And that's
Right.
where we missed it, was we didn't add those two together in those final reports. So we're not gonna make that mistake again, but we did make it.
Mhm.
And for that, I apologize. My eyes were on it. I should have seen it too, and I didn't.
no, it's fine.
So, yeah, but stops here. You can throw it on my shoulders.
No, it's not
Yeah.
a, we'll say, we just wanna make sure it doesn't happen again.
Well, I agree. And, that's why we are taking the steps that we're trying to take tonight to get us out of the hole that we're sitting in and, you know, I say, we are where we are at this point. Now we need to move forward. So my recommendation is to cash in the bond. And, versus option 2, which is gonna cost us more money. $5,800 more.
And we'd have to
potentially-
struggle.
And we
Yeah.
would be still, I mean, we're still not gonna be on easy street. Everything's up, all the costs are up and everything. It's been a tough go for the last year and a half. And I'm sure the county's in the same situation. It's just financially, it's been tough to make ends meet. And I've asked a lot of our departments, to cut here and cut there and wherever they can. And, you know, it's been lean times.
Mhm.
And they've come through remarkably in many areas that you guys maybe not even being aware of, things that they're just cutting here and not doing and trying to save a penny here and a penny there. And if we do this, we can maybe not get that. I mean, it's been tough. So,
I make a motion, we cash in the bond.
is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
I
Or any opposed? Okay. Thank you. And I'm sorry that we found ourselves in this situation. Going forward, if miracles happen and we wind up with some extra, I'd like to replace this if we can, but I can't promise that, but that would be my hope that at some point we could do that.
Well, you could think, but
So-
we had a matured bond.
How many other bonds do we have in place though?
There's,
We have a couple more coming up, one in March and one in February.
I think so, something like that. One was May, wasn't it?
Oh, so maybe February and May.
Yeah. Anyway, we had, what was it, 1.4 million in bonds and now we're gonna take 200,000 out. So And the main thing that money is set aside for is down the road, should something catastrophic happen with water. We have that to fall back on, to help us. If we ever have to replace that river crossing, that's gonna be a ton of money. Yeah, so. And it would probably just be matching funds is
Yeah.
what it would be for grant funding or emergency funding that we could get somehow.
Mhm.
So, okay, thank you. So let's move on to department head reports. Chief Stevel,
I have nothing tonight.
all right, Supervisor Haupt,
Same.
Clerk Treasurer Soa.
Nothing.
There's enough on the agenda already.
I'll carry on, yeah, we've talked enough tonight, nothing for me either. Public comments regarding current agenda items, anything from the public?
Now's your time to complain about your water bill.
I live in Ocean Park.
All right.
You have to go
How
away.
much is your water bill?
Okay, moving on.
It's going up down there too.
Yeah, we're not that lucky either. so.
Council comments, Counselor Corcoran. Any
Uh, Thank you, Lucas, for your year-end report. It was very well done. You guys are doing such a wonderful job. And I'd like to know the status of the peace poll.
We don't have the other language, what, like the Asian language that you were gonna reach
Oh.
out to somebody.
We got the Chinook though.
We got the.
We have the Chinook.
So we're gonna do Laotian. Is that,
Well, I thought we were gonna try to see which one and then,
okay,
between the two, Laotian and Cambodian, right? And
yeah,
You were gonna check with somebody, I thought.
yeah,
Jen.
we've got with,
Mr. Gauger, I believe. Somebody was gonna check with Mr. Gauger.
okay, well, I'll get on that.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay. Counselor Williams,
Nothing for me.
Counselor Davis,
I'd like to recommend that we send a letter from the council to the commissioners for that 0.1% increase in the sales tax, so we can, you know.
okay, so are you making a motion? Oh, you can do that.
Can I make a motion? Okay, I'd like to make a motion that, the mayor writes a letter to the commissioners, county commissioners, to put our support behind the 0.1% bond for, sales tax for housing.
Okay,
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Are any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
we have a draft, so we'll get that done.
And I also want to report that, Dave Gauger says that, most of the people he's worked with here are Laotian.
Okay.
So, she says if you need someone to craft something in the Lao language, I should be able to point you in the right direction. So I'll ask him to do
Thank
that.
you.
What's it say, Pat? May peace be with you.
I have it. It's like,
May peace reign upon the earth.
yeah, I
Or
have,
I'm sorry, may peace prevail upon the earth.
I have it, so I'll send it.
You'll send it to me, okay.
Okay.
And
Anything
then-
else?
No, that's it.
All right. Counselor Manlow?
No.
Counselor Keikin?
I'm good.
Okay, all right. Do we have any future agenda topics?
The Ray Hicks thing.
Yeah, that's down the road. Anything for next month? I mean, the next meeting,
Next
not
month.
next month.
We're good.
All right, we are adjourned.